This drama seems to have potential legal ramifications.
Jeremy Hambley of The Quartering may have put himself in legal hot water in his fight with the Kino Casino boys and his apparent flagging campaign. The Kino Casino boys, Ashton and Andy Worski, mocked Jeremy Hambley for being a, well, let's call it a corner chair sitter. You guys know what that implies.
Oh, come on. They just called him a cuck. It's a super fun insult. Though, I guess arguably less fun when it has the potential to be true.
He talks about his porn history, how he's gone deep down the rabbit hole of pornography and is now into some weird shit. Like, that's what he actually says.
Twisted stuff.
But then we're not supposed to be able to say, hey, maybe this guy who's inviting a bull over to his house for the last 10 years, maybe he's a cuck.
I really couldn't care less what anyone's sexual proclivities are as long as everything is safe, consensual, and frankly, I don't have to know about it. I genuinely don't need the mental image of this guy sitting in a dark corner. Yeah, actually, we're gonna stop that line of thought right there while I do my best to keep my breakfast down. Though that's not the only thing he's been called out for, because it's usually not a great look when you invite a friend over to watch football and she looks at another woman and mouths the words, "help me." But it all really came to a head recently when Jeremy from The Quartering came out and made threats to take him out. Okay, not quite that dramatic, but he did threaten to use his contacts at YouTube and Rumble to take down their channels.
He came out and said, I can take him down, I can take him out. Well, shortly after that, channels started disappearing, both the Kino Casino Clips channel and other channels, Andy Worski's personal channel, and now even Clippers are losing videos and having their videos taken down.
Yeah, you heard that right. He's not only taking down Kino Casino, but anyone participating in the show and tell. I don't think it's fair. All we want to do is be cucks to his drama. You'd think you'd understand. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. You see, Jeremy from The Quartering is all about that free speech, baby. Of course he didn't strike down the channels. It was all just a great big coinkydink. We are just awful people jumping to conclusions because, unlike his lack of evidence for all this alleged harassment he's been getting, he went to X Twitter and showed the evidence that he did not report anyone. All 5 of his YouTube channels, not a single report. Though, I mean, he also has a weird-ass claw game channel and an RC car channel, because this guy apparently collects channels like 90s Housewives collected Beanie Babies, but that's neither here nor there. From what he said, this wasn't going to be the avenue he took. He preferred to take this to his YouTube contact instead of going through all the normal reporting methods.
We see the public evidence which was posted. These are conversations between Josh Moon of the Kiwi Farms and The Quartering, saying, Josh, can we agree I can take their kick in YouTube, right? If I actually wanted to, they would be deplatformed outside of DLive in a week. You can see here he kind of reinforces this when there's a question saying, an assumption I see being made is that you, The Quartering, have God mode reporting powers on YouTube. Is that true? He confirms this and says, yes, all I have to do is press a button and poof. I also shouldn't even have to report the channels either, apparently.
But you see, that was just a bunch of hot air. It was lies. There's some super solid evidence on his ex Twitter showing he absolutely 100% has zero contact with YouTube anymore since his rep left. And we can definitely believe him because obviously he says what he means and means what he says. Pay no attention to the search bar in the live stream shortly before everyone started vanishing from the YouTube sphere. Like I said, it's all just one big coincidence. Those are for, other completely unrelated things. You guys are so distrustful. I don't know what makes you so jaded. Good Lord, Jeremy is not the bad guy. Even Kino will tell you they are the assholes.
Are we the moral paragons of virtue? Absolutely fucking not. Honestly, most people would say we're pretty bad fucking guys. We come up here every day and we talk shit and we make jokes and we mock people we don't like and we drag them through the fucking mud. But the one thing we never have ever done is actually tried to take away someone's livelihood, actually tried to take away their platform, their ability to speak. You somehow turned us, some of the nastiest, cruelest people around,
guys,
into the actual wronged party.
Let me tell you, after watching some of their live streams, that takes some skill right there. Frankly, I think they're all unwatchable and annoying to a level that makes it incredibly difficult to rub my last 2 brain cells together when their ear-piercing nonsense vibrates through the tiny hairs in my earlobes, but
it's not really a bold stance to be against deplatforming and flagging. It's about the only thing that everybody can agree on, you know?
I have to agree with that sentiment, though. As I pointed out in my last video, there is certainly a sect of society that seems to side with Jeremy. The irony of him moving to Rumble because he felt silenced by those exact people on YouTube is certainly not lost on me. But the thing about this story that really captured me was, what the fuck is YouTube doing?
What exactly did Jeremy Hambley say to his contact or connection to have them taken down? Did he just say, I don't like these guys, take them down, boys, or whatever else? Now, we don't know that yet, but that's certainly something that would come out in discovery. All of those calls, emails, text messages, DMs, whatever else that Hambley may or may not have sent to YouTube support or his connection could be discoverable.
All right, this bit could be all fake, so take it with a grain of salt, but do for me what Adam the Bull does so well for Jeremy and just indulge me for a moment. If what this Flash guy says is true and Jeremy was able to subvert the TOS in order to take down the channels he wanted just because they were talking shit, that seriously puts a smaller channel with no backdoor access at risk just for calling out the bigger YouTuber even if they do follow the rules. Much like the case of the vanishing channels who were calling out the quartering. I knew the YouTube gods had all the potential in the world of being shady, but that is a Twitch level of low that really puts into perspective the risk you take when you're a smaller channel that has the audacity to call out a bigger one for any reason at all, whether or not you're telling the truth. I wonder how many times this has happened and you just never hear about it because the channels are just too small for people to notice. It would be interesting to get the perspective of Legal Mind on whether or not YouTube could be held liable if Kino were to take Jeremy to court, revealing all this potentially shady dealings happening behind the scenes, giving these smaller channels who were potentially unrightfully removed the information needed to start their own lawsuit, provided it happens and makes it to the discovery phase. At this point, however, it really doesn't matter what the quartering does unless there's some kind of evidence. Otherwise, there's no scenario where anyone is going to believe Jeremy because he said he was going to do it, it happened, and let's face it, the search bar showing YouTube reports was the cherry on top. There are several valuable lessons to be learned here, but let's just focus on a few. Don't talk about things online if you don't want other people to talk about it. Don't try to deplatform people because they hurt your fifis talking about the very things you yourself have put out there, and
if he hadn't said fucking anything and just ignored us, eventually, we're going to move on. Again, I told you, if you strike us down, we will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
don't feed the trolls.